Hello students, today's concept is going to cover the points that are mentioned on the slide. So let us see how many points we can cover. The topics for today, as you can see here, need for data warehouse, definition of data warehouse, what are data marts and operational data source. Now talking about the first one, that is the need for data warehouse. So overall, so far we have understood the data warehouse, that it is a large database wherein the data is that is existing in different formats is converted with the help of the ETL process, that is extraction, transformation and loading, and then is put in the data warehouse for further use. And basically, for the further use would be talking in terms of BI or OLAP systems, would be in terms of trying to analyze that particular data or to predict the trends. Now let's imagine a scenario that how the data exists in different contexts. Like for example, as you can see here, the points mentioned on the slide. So you can say that our college is having 4 different departments, which is BCA, BBA, BCom and MCom. Now each of the department has their own library and the records are also maintained separately. And also another thing is, it is not mandatory that all these 4 departments would maintain all of these records in a similar format or in the same format. Like BCA would try to store it, say, in .NET application, BBA would store it in MS Access, maybe another section stores it in MS Excel. So there are various ways in which the records could be stored. Now, when the you say that the same, there's a possibility that for a particular subject, the particular subject exists in all the 4 departments. Like for example, computers, the basic computers or computer fundamentals. Assume that this subject is existing for all the 4 departments. Now, the possibility is that one department will try to refer the book from another department's library. So at that point of time, if a single large data warehouse is existing, so it becomes easy to maintain these records or even to try to work on these records because the version of the data that is existing on all of these 4 departments will be the same. Then to put it to say that, like, what is a better way to go for this data warehousing? So why should we go for data warehousing? Before when we say that what are the better ways, let's understand why there is a need for this data warehouse. Okay, so have a look at this diagram here. The same description is put in terms of a diagram. Data coming from different departments, that is different libraries that exist in 4 different departments. All the data can be combined and that can be the process of ETL can be carried out and put in the data warehouse. Now, what is the need for data warehousing? So one thing is data from different sources, like as we have spoken previously also, data existing from different departments could exist in different way. The library records could be stored in database in MS Excel sheet or MS Access. So all the data can be combined together and with the help of ETL can be combined and then put it in the data warehouse. So there is the need, like for referring for 4 different databases or for 4 different ways of the recording is reduced here. Then even when the college decides to expand, like for example, now if it's in Belgaum, also another locality which is in Halyad, another branch. So likewise, if in the coming years, if the college decides to expand in more than 1 or 2 cities, if the data warehouse or the database is centralized, that is, the same data or the same set of records will be available on any number of branches that the college decides to expand. So data anomalies can be corrected. Data anomalies are the errors in the data. So that can be corrected when we are carrying out the process of extraction, transformation, and loading. So missing or incomplete records can be again detected and corrected. So that is another data anomaly, or you can say that when you try to carry out the process of ETL, you will come across many data which is incomplete or data that is missing. So all these things can be taken care of during the ETL process. Then uniformity can be maintained. So instead of saving the data in different formats, uniformity would be trying to maintain n number of records of the different departments in a single particular version, and that version will be helpful whenever the colleges decide to expand. Then generation of reports and retrieving will be easy. So you need not go to one specific department if you want to access the report or generate the report, or you want to try to access the data or retrieve the data. You can view it from your own department. Then when it comes to decision making, the very important feature of BI is fact-based decision making. So the fact-based decision making is again based on the data warehousing, because data warehousing consists of that data which has been converted, which has been extracted, converted, and is put in a uniform format or in a common format. Then we have some more need for data warehousing, like lack of information sharing or cross selling opportunities. So, what is this lack of information sharing? So, as in the example, we have seen that we have four different departments, and I said one common subject regarding computers which runs in all the four courses. So, at this point of time, if the libraries are not sharing the information, or you say that the information from one department's book records has not been updated for the other section, then there is going to be a problem whenever we try to access or whenever we try to look for that particular book. Then coming to cross sharing. So why data warehousing is needed for cross sharing? So the example for cross sharing is, you must have seen that again the example of online shopping portals. They will predict you the suggestions. The customer who has bought the mobile phone will also buy the memory card, or will also buy this particular mobile cover. Likewise, you must have also seen the scenario that is given is, you decide to go on a trip. You try to book a hotel on few of the online portals. So those portals, what they do is to retain the customers, so that the customers for the other services do not move on to any other platform. They will want to retain the same customer. They try to attract the customer. So what they will do is they'll try to look for your details, where you're traveling, and then they will try to suggest you that we have a cab service to for the pick and drop from the airport, or from particular station from where you get down. And we also have suggested hotel bookings at this particular location. People who have traveled to this particular city prefer or have given the review for this particular hotel. So by this way, the customer will also think. So when these suggestions are popping up, it means what? Okay, so if you are going to a particular place, so then looking at the review, the customer feels that okay, these are the suggestions and many people have given the rating, so this must be good. So they will continue with those decisions that is given. So that is called as cross-selling opportunities. So with the help of this data warehousing, more number of customers are retained for a business. Then lack of credibility. So what is the lack of credibility? For example, we can say that there is a product based business that is running. So in the meeting, there are two people. One is the senior executive who is trying to talk about the recent product that they have launched. Say they have launched a new version of the laptop. So he's trying to talk about that product. So there is another senior executive B who is also trying to present on the same product. But then what is going to happen is the information or the presentation that is given, the information that is shared by the senior executive A and senior executive B do not match. So this is because there is data that is stored is not stored on a single database or on a single data warehouse. It is existing in different versions, or say it is existing in different parts. It is existing in parts and pieces. So the senior executive A is referring to one database and senior executive B is referring to another database. So based on what data they are referring, they are giving the information. So if we make use or if we try to implement a data warehousing, then the same version will be existing for all the business or the entire business or all the departments. And this will reduce lot of confusions. Next, reports take a longer time to be prepared. So talking about the usual databases, they are basically a part of the OLTP systems. So you know that when we talk for OLTP systems, we have query kind of a system. We run the queries. So whenever we try to run the queries, you know that we have insert, delete, update. So what is happening is whenever we are trying to store the data in the databases, most recent data is only stored. The history, that is right from the beginning up till now, the data is not stored. If you perform the update query, what is going to happen? The previous data is removed and the new data is stored. So what if you want to access to the previous data? The only solution would be to refer to the data warehousing, because data warehousing contains or stores the data right from the beginning, that is from the history. A lot of history will be there right from the beginning up till the present. All of the data will be there. So that is why it helps for analysis. So the usual way will take a lot of time whenever reports need to be prepared, but with data warehousing it becomes easy. Then after this, let's understand what what do we mean by a data warehouse, or what is the definition of a data warehouse. So a data warehouse, as you can see, is a subject oriented, integrated, time variant, non volatile collection of data in support of management's decision making process. So what do we mean by subject oriented? So subject oriented means that when we talk for data warehouse, it is going to collect the data. So data will be collected in terms of what? Data could be collected for customers, for the suppliers, or for the products, then partners, etc. So basically, if you see, the data that is stored in the data warehouse is covering your entire organization or the enterprise. So this is subject oriented. So you can say that when I say the data for the entire data warehouse consists of the entire organization. So here we are trying to understand that the data can be related to any one particular subject. The subject would be referring to say departments, or it could be referring to products. Subject could be referred to as customers. Then what is integrated? Integrated again, very easy to understand, since data comes from heterogeneous platforms. The data warehouse is the only way which will give us the platform where we are able to combine the different versions of the data with the help of ETL and try to store it in a single way. Then we have time variant. So what is time variant now? As I said previously, data warehouse is capable of trying to store the data right from the beginning. That is, it is said that data warehousing means it is having the history of data right from beginning of the organization up till the present. Whereas OLTP systems, they will only contain the most recent data. So your data warehouse can contain the most for the analysis, the most recent analysis could be predicted, or if you want to have the analysis of how the business was running or how the product was in demand for in the last 20 years, even that could be predicted. Then the last one we have non-volatile. So non-volatile because this is not like OLTP systems. This data warehousing basically has a separate physical store of the transformed data. So it is a non-volatile, meaning that since it is not trying to delete the previous data, it is trying to exist with the previous data. So that is what is non-volatile. So this definition is given by William Imon. So he was the person who gave the definition for data warehouse. So the next part that we have is the data mart. So what is data mart? So the data mart is focused on single functional area of the organization and contains a subset of data stored in the data warehouse. So basically data mart is nothing but a small part of the data warehouse. So what this data mart will contain? This data mart, you could say that it could be referring to a particular department, the data of a particular department, or it could be referring to a small functional unit of that organization. So basically, this is a subset of the entire data. Then, data mart is condensed version of data warehouse and is designed for use by specific department, unit, or set of users in an organization. So since it is a part of the larger database, the small this is the extracted unit of the data warehouse. So it could be used by, say, a specific department, or it could be used by only a specific set of users. So that is what is a data mart. So then, talking about this data mart, to understand it better, say that we have an organization, and the organization basically will have different departments. One could be for customers, one for sales transactions, one's for accounting. So all the data combined together of these departments is stored in the data warehouse. But when you look at it individually, each of these units will be called as a data mart, and each of these individual units can perform the same operations or the calculations that the data warehouse can perform. This is what is a data mart. The next concept that we have, okay, before that, the diagrammatic representation of the data mart, you can see that smaller units of the data mart together combine and the data warehouse is formed. Or you can say that from this bigger data warehouse, the smaller parts that we extract, or the small or the way we look at the data in terms of different departments or units, they will be called as a data mart. The next concept that we have is ODS, which stands for Operational Data Store. So an ODS is meant to hold current or very recent operational data. So what this is like similar to a data warehouse, but in this, what is going to happen is only the most recent records will be existing. So that is called as an ODS, and it is said to be operational data store. So this basically why this ODS is used, or why this ODS is existing. So this ODS is designed for simple queries on small amounts of data, such as finding the status of a customer order, like for online portals. There is a lot of data that is existing in the data warehouse, but only the most recent data, like you have ordered something on Flipkart and you want to check the status. So you try to have a look at your reference ID number and find out whether the particular order has been shipped, or it is packed, it is still in the packing stage, whether the order has been confirmed. So most recent data can be viewed with the help of this ODS, or the most recent data that is existing, that where it is existing, that will be called as an operational data store. So this helps us to run very simple queries. So complex queries will be running on the larger amount of data which exists in the data warehouse. So you can say that ODS is similar to the short-term memory, which stores only very recent information. So this is about ODS. After this, we have Ralph Kimball's approach versus Imon's approach. So we have already seen the Imon's definition for a data warehouse. Let us go back once again and have a look at the definition. So this definition was given by the same person, That is, a data warehouse is a subject-oriented, integrated, time-variant, non-volatile collection of data in support of management's decision-making process. So this definition is given by this Hyman's approach. Now, there are two ways or two approaches or two perspectives how the data warehouse can be viewed. So these two people have their own different perspectives and both are opposite in nature. The first one, Ralph Kimball's approach, let us have a look at that. So according to him, the definition for a data warehouse is it is made up of all the data marts in an enterprise. So we know what is a data mart. A data mart is a smaller component of the data warehouse. So when you combine all these smaller components together, you form the larger unit, that is the data warehouse. So basically this approach is called as bottom up because we are trying to go from smaller units to the larger unit. So all the combination of the data marts will together give you a data warehouse. Like this, have a look at the diagram. We will have different, maybe these three that are specified here, data mart 1, 2 and so on. This could refer to one department, this could refer to another department, this could refer to another unit. So when we combine the data of all these three together, it will form the enterprise's data warehouse. Another way of pictorial representing the data mart and the data warehouse. Coming to the Hyman's approach, the definition we have already seen. This is a total opposite of what Ralph Kimball proposed. So they say this is a top-down approach. So he says that the larger unit, that is the data warehouse, from that we will have data moving separately, or from that we will have different units of the data, and those different units are nothing again but they are the data marts. So this is the opposite of the first one, that is Ralph Kimball's definition. So from the data warehouse, we will have different sections. The data warehouse can be divided into different subsections, and that division is nothing but again the data mart. Now talking about these two definitions, so then how can we decide which is the best one and which should be followed for a particular business? If the organization is you say the organization is a small organization or a smaller business, then the best approach to follow is Kimball's approach because it is faster, cheaper, and less complex. Whereas Diamond's approach is more expensive, time consuming, slow processes involving several complexities. So to understand this, say that we have two business. We'll take scenario of two different business. So assume that you are running a small business from the home. So when you're running it from the home, you are the single person who is trying to handle the computer. So you are the person who is trying to look out for the entire business there. And the data will also be managed, but only by you, none other but only by you. So then whatever data is there, nobody else is going to handle, but only you will be handling. And so you know that whatever data is existing, that is the version of the data, and that is the only data that is running the show. So then if in such a case, when there is a business running like only from one particular center or only from one particular computer and only one person is trying to handle everything, the question of integration does not arise here because the data is not existing in different departments or is not existing on different computers or on different or in the form of a different version. So for when such a kind of a scenario arises, the Ralph Kimball's approach is best. Then another version is there is a large organization which is having more than 2 lakh employees. So there are going to be different units, and different units will also be in the small business, but only one person is managing it. So when it comes to large organizations, there are different people who are trying to handle the same data. So data will be again in different formats, is going to exist in different ways. So again, to make a decision, we will have to refer to the multiple versions of the data. So in such a case, there is a need for integrating the data. So large organizations will, when it comes to decision making, they will try to look out for the single version of truth of this data. That is, all the departments should have the same output about the data. So in such a case, the Iman's architecture will be more relatable, because the definition itself says that it is subject oriented, integrated, time variant, and non volatile. So this is about the Iman's approach. So we shall cover this goals of a data warehouse in the next session.